Hello, Helen here. Welcome to another card in my Christmas 2019 series. Today's card is a redo of quite a complicated card I did a few years back where I embedded some snowflakes into a card. I'm going to do a similar thing today, but I'm only going to embed one snowflake, so it's going to be a lot easier to do, and I thought people would enjoy seeing a simpler version of it. I'll start off with a card base and a card front panel that I've cut out with a rectangle die. I'm going to put some craft foam behind it before I even cut the snowflake out, as it'll be much easier than doing it afterwards. But I'm going to stick the craft foam onto the back of my front panel with some sticker tape, because it's going to make sure that it stays and it's all sticky right the way throughout when I come to cut it out, so that the two parts don't come apart in the intricate die cutting and gluing it onto the card base. You'll see what I mean when I come to do it a bit later. Now that the front card panel's ready, I'll cut out the snowflake shape out of that, going through both thicknesses. I'll just move the die in just a little bit because I'm going to be working with the negative space for the top card panel, so I don't want it to be too close to the edge, so I'll stick that down and put that through my cutting machine. But I will use a metal plate just because it's a very intricate die, and I'm going through the two thicknesses with the craft foam as well, so it'll just make the cutting a lot easier. I'm going to use a pokey tool just to help push the snowflake out and leave the negative part free. It is a little bit fiddly, but it came out quite well, only because I think the craft foam was stuck really well to the cardboard. And then with the snowflake that I take out, I'll be able to use that on another project. It'll stand out quite nicely from a card, but for this card I'm only going to use the negative space of the card panel. I've gone ahead and cut out a gold foil snowflake, and I'm going to use the positive part of that. I've also put some double-sided tape all the way around the snowflake and the craft foam, just to be able to stick it onto my card. So what I'll do is take all the tape off, but then I'm going to lay the snowflake upside down and kind of fit it into the holes of the card base card panel that's got the cutout, and it fits in there quite nicely. And then I'm going to glue them with some liquid glue all the way over both the gold snowflake and the card panel, and that way I make sure that I get all the little tiny pieces, and then I'll turn it over and stick it onto my card base. I'm trying to be really thorough so that I don't miss any parts that then might lift later on, and then poke the snowflake down onto the card base through the negative space. It worked really well. I was quite surprised at how well this worked, and it's definitely a good little trick to know. I'm going to stick an acrylic block onto it just briefly while it dries a little, make sure the foam all sticks while I get a sentiment ready. I'm going to use the Misty, and I'm going to use a scrap piece of the same card. I'm going to use this Joycraft stamp set that I've used heaps in my videos, and I'm going to use the one that says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It's quite a thin little stamp, so I have quite a bit of trouble making sure it's straight, so I'll use this acrylic grid just to make sure that I'm getting it straight on the lid of the Misty. And then once I'm happy with that, I'll stamp it with Versamark sticky ink, and then emboss it with some gold embossing powder and heat set it. I'll then trim it down with a craft knife and a metal ruler and into a strip, and then put some Scotch foam tape on the back, and then I can put that on the card just underneath the snowflake, and that's actually the card finished. Quite quick and easy this time. Not nearly as complicated as the last time. I think I've learned a few tricks along the way, and this time with that trick of putting it upside down, it worked much easier. So that's the card finished. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'll leave you with a few photos of the card, and I'll also at the end leave the other version of this card video and something else that you might be interested in watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time for the next video. Bye for now.